Your gut feeling is your intuition. So a gut feeling is a substantial match or mismatch of a feeling from the past or in the current present. And a gut feeling is 100% correlated with a man's intuition. But like all things, there are two sides to the story. As I have just mentioned, sometimes your gut feeling can be a mismatch. And when this mismatch happens, it profoundly exploits why a gut feeling is so correlated to an intuition of a man. Because a gut feeling is a feeling. It's a feeling that is connected between your brain and your inner gut. But when a man has a mismatch with a gut feeling, he is feeling more of a feeling than an intuition. Let me kind of sum this up so it can be more abundantly clear and more of an understanding. So say you meet someone and they seem like a pretty cool person, seem like you have similar interests, and it seems like you will get along with them perfectly. So you interact with them. Then it's completely 360 degrees differently than you've expected. That person looks at you as just the biggest nothingness, waste of space, just get the fuck out of my fucking way type of attitude towards you. Now instinctually you are going to get a gut feeling of the same type of feeling that person is feeling towards you, and that is distaste. But you're not feeding more into your intuition. You're feeding more into that feeling, that gut feeling. You're going to keep feeling and feeling and feeling. As in, you are going to think something is wrong with you. You are going to think that person is a complete fucking asshole because that person is. But you're going to start thinking like, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to change? What needs to be going down? What am I doing that is making them so distasteful towards me? When common intuition dictates your intentions. What do you want to really intend from this type of transpiring action that has taken place? Do you really want to keep feeding into the feelings? Seeing what you need to change? Why is this happening? What did you do wrong? Why is this person acting this way? Or do you want to put a better intent behind it? Because again, intuition is your inner knowing. It's the truth. And if you're going into a situation as the best person you are, not being a threat, being very authentic and open and welcoming, you know you are doing nothing wrong at that moment. So why feed into that feeling? Maybe I've mentioned it in the past video, but I've read The Power of Intention by Dr. Wayne Dyer a lot. It's one of my favorite reads. I listen to it, I read it, I study it constantly. Whenever I feel kind of off track in that type of way in my own life, I read that book. And there's always something to learn from it, something new. And what it explains a lot in the book is what you think about expands, no matter what you think about. As in, what are you putting your intentions on at that moment? Because whatever you're putting your intentions on is going to expand out there. And you're not going to stop it. If you're just completely targeted on intent, on certain anything, it will expand without you willingly even knowing it sometimes. You could get very carried away with it. Your gut feeling can be one of the very first indications of a decision that you have to make that you willingly don't even know at that present moment. You just kind of feel it. And once that feeling has just taken place, why would you want to keep feeding into the feeling? It's just going to expand out into more feelings, and it's going to keep making you feel and feel and feel more. You're going to be a complete emotional wreck. As I've mentioned before, feel it to heal it. Feel that gut feeling and realize that knowing with your intuition, and then find the intent you want to put behind it. The right intent. You're just out enjoying life and all of a sudden you get a glance from something just gorgeous right in front of you. And you just feel it in your gut that you have to go up to talk to them. And you just keep feeding into the feeling, you're going to end up pussing out. If you realize that feeling, and if you go within your intuition and put some intent behind it, your intents will expand you towards that interaction. You think you have an anger problem, anger tendencies that are just triggered off by any gust of wind that comes upon at any willing second. Trust that gut feeling of when you're about to pop off and then put some intuition into it. Know that is very inappropriate at some cases to pop off like that. In a lot of cases. And put some intents behind it. Intents on how am I supposed to act right now? What would intentively be the right type of attitude towards this to discard this feeling that I'm feeling bubbling up inside of me so I can act the exact opposite and transpire as something great and enjoyable and calm within my present days. In a lot of cases, it can be a very hard thing to catch yourself from this. To not move into overreacting with certain stuff. To not give an appropriate reaction that will help you put good intentions towards what you truly want to fulfill within your life a lot quicker and more enjoyably at all times. But I'm telling you, man, catching that feeling and discarding it with a good intention behind it and just moving more towards that good intention, that inner knowingness will completely set your ways within life. It'll calm you completely. It'll open up that smooth path. It'll make everything enjoyable to you. It'll make everything enjoyable from you. And it will make everything around you feel enjoyed from you. This was one of the main tricks that really helped me build confidence in standing up for my own self. Catching myself within certain situations that will come up very abruptly to me and putting immediate intentions behind it that I know will get me out of a jam, of an argument, almost a physical fight, a disagreement of anything. Something that is just very distasteful in my life. Because before, when I wouldn't do that, I would keep feeding into the feelings. And I would just let it keep dwelling upon me and keep feeling it and keep feeding into it and just let it sit there and make a problem exist when problems are non-existent. Because any problem that you have dealt with, you are dealing with presently, or you are going to have to deal with within the future that you can proceed. It is all possibly able to be overcome by the right intent. So trust those gut feelings, but don't feed so much into the feeling aspect. Feel it and know that inner knowing from your intuition and put as many as you can good intentions behind that intuition, that knowing. And then realize that inner knowing, that inner intuition within you. Know what needs to get done. You can feel the feeling aspect behind it all. You know what it feels like, but you know from your intuition what needs to get done. And from that inner knowing, put some intentions behind it. Because intentions expand out there. Whatever you put your intentions on will expand out. Whatever you put your thoughts on will expand out. Intentions are as equal to actions. And once you consciously condition yourself through this process, life is just simply enjoyable. It's immaculate.
Saint Perigene, patron saint of all forms of cancer. We ask you for your help in asking God to heal my cancer and keep it in remission. Pray for me so that I may live a long and faithful life.